I'm gonna be entirely honest. I thought this was supposed to be like the coming down chapter after, like the hype and height of the climax of last chapter of Ozuma and Tokyo going into whatever you want to call that form that was amazing. I thought this was the drop off. No, not really. I mean, yeah, like the pacing of the things actually physically happening is much slower and less climactic. But from a reader's perspective, at least from my perspective, I'm not going to speak for everybody. This this might honestly have gone up. Honestly, I don't I don't really know how to. This was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out. It means a ton. Welcome to chapter 24 of Trojan X. God, I can't believe that title drop at the end. Oh God, I'm starting in the exact wrong spot. You're supposed to start on the other side of the chapter, dude. What are you doing? But the title drop at the end. Oh my God, the story of X and oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. Ishida is in his bag, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, going back to the beginning of the chapter where we should be right about now. We start off with Ozuma, and we actually start off with, well, he's at Yamato Mori, but the very next page, we're back to the, water basin area. What do you call that? I don't know. Anyway, either way, Sato is there, and he's talking to Ozuma, saying, looks like you fell from that dam up there, but even a Choujin doesn't stand a chance with a fall like that. Okay, so this is very good. I, for one, have been sitting here recently saying, guys, we don't exactly know what all Choujin can withstand and not withstand, especially when you take raising into account. Somebody did bring it up, and apparently I had this straight over my head. The rubber stretchy neck dude, I've mentioned him multiple times. Completely forgot that he got killed by the no mask guy. Granted, I don't think he knew how to raise. I also don't know if you can raise from your head being. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ozuma was like annihilated in a bunch of pieces, and he just came back together. Never mind. This is still confusing on what Choujin can and cannot withstand. But a fall off of something that high, according to Sato, something that even a Choujin cannot survive. So it must have been him that saved Ozuma. This is when we pan over to Tokyo and Tokyo, no! Tokyo, land any way but that. Any way but that. Just not directly on your face. That's the worst possible way you could have landed, bud. So yeah, at the end of the day, Tokyo is, well, still Tokyo. But then we cut immediately over to Yamato Mori again, and we join Ozuma, who is with Sandak. And immediately in between the two panels, it says the scroll on the wall says self-control. I'm pretty sure it said that before in the series, but either way, it's been a while. I'm not going to remember what the scroll behind Sandak says in his dojo. But it says self-control. They told us right now. This immediately, right off the bat, tells you what Ozuma is lacking, but you turn the page and they do reaffirm it and confirm it that yes, self-control is the thing that Ozuma lacks. Self-control is strength, is what's written on the scroll. Self-control is what Ozuma lacks. This is wonderful, actually. I'm assuming this is where we're going from here. Because back in chapter 1, Ozuma, when he broke the rubbery dude's arms, just straight up snapped his arms in half with one kick. Tokyo's first reaction was, that was kind of a little much, don't you think, bud? Self-control. He didn't need to go that far. He didn't need to kick that hard. He did it. He obviously got some pleasure from it. If you remember the smile on his face when he did it, he was very proud of himself. Self-control is strength. So yeah, Sandak tells him that he's lacking self-control, and this is obviously very important to Choujin, especially when you think about these powers are based off of emotion. So if you cannot control your emotion and have emotional outbursts and act upon those things, having Choujin powers probably is not a very good thing, especially for the people around you, as we've recently seen. So yeah, this is all also very new to Ozuma, you have to imagine. He's kind of a prodigy at life. Everything he's done, he's been good at. All of a sudden, not so much. He's the one being told He's not good enough. He's lacking. We then immediately jump into a flashback that really demonstrates two things very well. One, once again, Ozuma's lack of self-control. He didn't need to go that hard in the wrestling match against Tokyo. And two, Ozuma's questions about whether Tokyo was looking down on him, because he utters under his breath after the match, "Were you even actually trying?" Tokyo kind of asks, like, "What are you talking about?" Nothing. But he has a conversation with Tokyo's sister a little bit after this. And Ozuma brings up the fact that he thinks Tokyo could accomplish a lot more and be a lot more capable if he actually tried. Tokyo's sister makes a incredibly important remark. The fact that she doesn't think he really has a reason to try. This actually ties back very well to when Ozuma was trying to get Tokyo to fight him recently. Ozuma beating up on Tokyo was doing nothing. It wasn't getting anywhere. That wasn't making Tokyo want to fight him. That didn't give Tokyo a reason to try. But when other people were in danger, when Ozuma didn't care about the safety of others and threw them and their lives aside, that gave Tokyo a reason to try. This wrestling match in school, especially the arm wrestling match, but now even this full-on wrestling match, that's not a reason to try. Tokyo doesn't care about that. What does that really mean at the end of the day anyway? Woo, I won an arm wrestling match at school. Woo, I won a wrestling match at school. Really, honestly, when you think about it, it really does mean nothing at the end of the day. So Tokyo needs a reason to actually give his all and actually use all of that potential that he has. We then cut over to see Tokyo, and he is still on a breathing machine recovering, and I'm just gonna play the reaction for you at this point. Wait. A cloth Choujin? Are they saying Ozuma is a cloth Choujin? Hang on, that cannot possibly be right. There are so many things about what he did that are not explained by the whatever possible abilities you want to give to a cloth Choujin. What? So, yeah, Simon says first we have to fight mercenaries, talking about the paper Choujin, Yume, and Ricardo. And then he says, okay, so first we have to fight mercenaries, Yume, Ricardo. Then a cloth Choujin, hot on their heels. And Kurahara somehow managed to survive on his own. Tokyo was on his own against Ozuma. So the cloth Choujin, hot on their heels, is Ozuma. You're telling me Ozuma is a cloth Choujin, yet he can sprout knives out of his wrists, whatever, like Wolverine. He can, I don't know, Edward Scissorhands, once again, low-hanging fruit, just gonna take it. All the chains. What cloth? What are we talking about? The only thing that had anything to do with cloth was the head covering and the cape. Now, I get it. The cape scene with Tokyo and Ozuma when they were kids. I get, even going down that route, cape Choujin would, I think, be a little more apt than just cloth Choujin. But what? What? That is so underwhelming. A cloth Choujin. Like my shirt. This is Ozuma. A shirt. I don't. Anyway, moving on. Ellie also basically just looks at Simon like, yeah, Tokyo's stronger than you, dude. What are you talking about? Straight up just basically says it to him. Hilarious. Simon is kind of pissed. I'm laughing my ass off. It was great. Anyway, while this is going on, Ozuma is overlooking from a balcony. He also gets to see Tokyo from up there, and he can hear the conversation, and he ends up taking a walk. Gets down to the ocean, and lo and behold, you guessed it, a piece of cloth goes fluttering in the wind. Anyway, moving past the cloth, even though it is kind of technically important here. Either way, we go into the flashback, and it's a flashback of Tokyo and Ozuma on top of the, like, rounded monkey bar jungle gym thing. I don't know what those are technically called. Either way, they're up there, they're being heroes as kids, having the cloth cape tied around their necks, and it ends with Ozuma saying, "I'll take the lead." Once again, remember him being Tokyo's hero for the longest time, and Tokyo kind of, well, I don't know if I want to say surpassing him, because I don't know if that's the most apt way to say it, but him taking his own lead. He's not just following Ozuma anymore. But immediately after Ozuma says, "Follow my lead," we cut back to the present, and the cloth is fluttering away in the wind, getting further and further away. We also have to remember that Ozuma is starting to believe that he's no longer Tokyo's hero. Tokyo is taking his own lead instead of following Ozuma. Granted, at the end of the chapter, when Tokyo wakes up, Tokyo might not quite feel the same way. Either way, after this, Ozuma looks back down, and he sees the poor good boy that he gave directions to earlier. Wait, is that the hyena I used? No, don't tell me the good boy's dead. I mean, hyenas aren't typically good boys. They're typically wild animals that... Aw, man! The good boy that wanted to go to the ocean's dead. Man! What? So yeah, I'm not some kind of hyena sympathizer or fanatic, but not the good boy that just wanted directions to the ocean. Damn it, Ishida. Anyway, yeah, Ozuma sees this and he is not very happy. And what you can only assume are vultures, Tokyo, vulture, hefty dose of symbolism, anybody? Yeah, they come down and they start pecking at the corpse of the hyena. Ozuma, talking about emotional outbursts earlier in the chapter, has an emotional outburst, grabs a stick, and starts to scream "stop" over and over again, and swinging at the vultures until they leave the hyena alone. He then drops down to be by its side, and I kind of might have skipped over something at this point. Interesting. Okay. Wow, I'm glad I went back. I did not realize Masked Dude showed up on the beach behind Ozuma. I had to make sure there wasn't somebody behind me. I was so into the text bubbles. That had me hooked so bad. I was hook, line, and sinker, ladies and gentlemen. He had me on the text alone. I skipped so hard over this dude walking up behind Ozuma. Okay. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh God. Oh no. So many possible directions we can go. What if Ozuma doesn't want to learn self-control? We just had an emotional outburst, and it was obviously pretty emotional. And he just went through all this turmoil with him in Tokyo, and now he's trying to deal with those feelings, and oh God, no. Seriously, I don't know how I did it, and I'm really glad I hit the back button a couple times to go through everything at the end of the chapter again, not like trying to like, okay, I gotta get this stuff down. Like, I just wanted to go through it again. Like, it was just so good. There was so much stuff. I wanted to think about all of it, look at all of it. I completely skipped over the no mask dude at the first read through. I don't know how I did it. I'm laser focused on those text bubbles. Laser focused on them. I'm insane, I swear. Or at least I'm currently going insane, one or the other. I guess you probably wouldn't know if you were insane or not, so hey, there you go. Somebody tell me. Either way, yeah, this was crazy, and I also just had to sit there and read through the text, and I had things flowing through my head the whole time. I was loving it. I'll go ahead and just play that reaction for you guys, because it's a good kind of summary of all of the things that were said at the very end. Among the Choujin, it is said that once in every generation, a single Choujin is born with the power to annihilate an entire world. Curiously, such a being has appeared in every era. The War Choujin Queen harbinger of a divided nation, and in days gone by, Bill Morse, the deathless emperor, and Sora Sela, the blessed beast and hero. Okay, Sora Sela, Sora very well might be the mother thing. Just calling that right now, immediately, as soon as I got done with that text bubble, as soon as I hear the blessed beast and that mother thing was talking about one of their beasts awakening, that, or that mother has been through all of these generations, and Sora, Bill, and Queen are all, or have all been, a beast in each generation, and the beast has awakened for this era as well. I don't know. Going with one of those two right off the bat, but obviously, first impression. Should they be virtuous, they shall serve as a shield of deliverance for the people. But should they be wicked, they shall serve as a blade that will bring forth calamity. And in this trifling prefecture of Yamato, such a being was set to emerge. A being the Choujin world regards with awe and envy. A being they refer to as the Moon Beast Trojan X. This is the story of X and those swept up in his tail. Wow, okay, that is hype. That is so unbelievably hype. Title drop as a big reveal at the end of the... Oh, okay. I am about it. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, another thing to look forward to. Who exactly is X? Will it be Ozuma? I don't know. We kind of went into all of this following an emotional outburst from Ozuma, and that's what we were talking about earlier in the chapter between him and Sondak, and he, is kind of naturally a monster already, immediately got his Choujin powers, and immediately passed up 3 people. 2 of them kind of experienced Choujin, the other one, yeah, doing pretty good so far, but kind of a beginner. Or is it Tokyo? It could be Tokyo as well. Who knows? Maybe we get 2 of them in this era. I don't know, but this... Oh my god, I love this series so much. It's so good. It is so good. Ishida in his bag. Oh my god. That wasn't the end. That wasn't the end. I didn't see it to be continued. I'm an idiot. And then, of course, we have Tokyo at the end, finally waking up in his hospital bed. And the first thing he thinks or says is, Ozuma, what should I do? He's still looking to Ozuma. He still wants to be able to ask Ozuma about these things and get his input. The feelings that Tokyo has really are not being paid attention to at all. I also want to state real quick, I love how these insanely strong Choujin throughout each era, they have names like Queen and Sora, and then Bill. Good old Bill, the most destructive Choujin on Earth that could wipe out the planet. Bill Morris. Out of literally every single name that has ever existed on this planet, real or fictional, Bill was the dude that could wipe out the entire planet. I can't. You got Bill Clinton out here. I did not use my Trojan powers to wipe out the planet. I can't, dude. I can't. This is too much. Bill. Oh my god. Is it too late to just rename my channel Bill? Like, that's just, I just want, can I rename myself Bill? Bill Morris. That's gonna be Morse. Sorry, not Morris. Bill Morse. That's gonna be my new name. Oh my god, I love it. There is so much stuff going on here, and so many interconnecting things that have already been interwoven throughout the first 24 chapters of the series. I don't even know if I can get it all straight and talk about all of it. It's so damn good. I know I keep saying this, but I'm probably going to keep saying it because it's probably going to keep being this good. With the No Mask guy and Ozuma, we have to talk about this before we go, obviously. I would not be surprised at all if Ozuma ends up just straight up joining his side. I don't think it's going to be like an immediate like, oh yeah, I'm going with you, let's go. There will probably be plenty of mental and inner turmoil for Ozuma, but I would not be surprised at all. You have to look at a multitude of different things. One, it's very possible that Ozuma, especially in the emotional state he is in right now, doesn't want to sit down and have some dude tell him how to have self-control and go through classes. You also have to imagine this whole experience is very new for Ozuma, being the one that's on the bottom. He's not doing things right. He's lacking. He doesn't have what he needs. He's the one who lost. He's the one who was saved. All of these things you have to think are pretty new and pretty foreign to Ozuma. Once again, making this emotional state that he is in even worse. Now you have this guy that's probably gonna spin all kinds of webs of lies and give him all kinds of promises and this and that, whatever. Maybe this dude just straight up kidnaps him and like holds him for ransom or whatever. I don't know. Maybe Stockholm Syndrome now that I'm at it. No, I'm kidding. Either way, yeah, Ozuma is in a very, very emotionally vulnerable state right now. They can easily take advantage of that. Now, that going into the whole destructive Choujin of every era, which one is it? Tokyo or Ozuma? We were going through things with Ozuma right before we went into that whole title drop. But leading out of the title drop into the actual end of the chapter, we have Tokyo waking up. But Tokyo is also thinking and talking about Ozuma. Which one is going to be the super strong destructive beast Choujin of the era? Ozuma or Tokyo? Maybe, once again, maybe just a harebrained idea. Is there maybe going to be two of them in this era? Are we possibly going to have to see which one comes out on top? The one that would use their powers to annihilate the world? Or the one that would use their powers to, well, save everybody? Keep the peace, I guess. Okay, so I have one last idea, and then I think I'm going to go because there's just so much here. Either way, getting into it, what if Ozuma is Trojan X, and he is going to have a very important decision to make throughout the series, or at least by the end of the series? Either be the shield of deliverance for the people, or be the blade that brings calamity. Once again, think back to Ozuma and his dad with the railroad tracks, always trying to choose the right path. This will give him two paths to choose from, and he will be forced to pick the right one. Now, this emotional state that he is currently in, he will be persuaded by the No Mask guy, and probably the Mother and the Mother faction as a whole, to come over to their side to be the blade for calamity. But you will of course have Tokyo on the side with Yamato Mori and Sandak and the others. They, especially Tokyo, will try to convince Ozuma to stay there and be that benevolent shield of deliverance for the people. This would be absolutely amazing. I'm just saying it right now, not just because I can be like, oh, I called it. I would love this. This would be huge, especially to give this plenty of energy and suspense for the series. We would need Ozuma to go with the No Mask guy right now. This, once again, due to his emotional state at the moment and the No Mask guy just walking up, and this being an anime and manga, hopefully an anime, at least right now a manga, I can definitely see this happening. They persuade him, they take advantage of him in this emotional state he is in to convince him to come over to their side, and this series builds to an eventual point, an eventual climax, where Tokyo is able to either beat Ozuma or more than likely convince him to not go through with being the blade of calamity. Now, I could see that ending in kind of a talk no jutsu fashion, but considering these two have been best friends for a long time, and we might possibly be getting hints at this route for the series to go down from the very beginning, and we have this whole choosing the right path dynamic with Ozuma, this all could be set up very well to where an eventual Tokyo talk no jutsu in Ozuma ending could actually be extremely emotional and extremely good. I wouldn't want it to just be completely talk no jutsu, like that's the only thing that does it, just completely out of nowhere. But you can set it up well, especially when it comes down to something like two best friends. I'm just saying, I don't mind that idea. If you guys have any other ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear them. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.